Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We'll give it a couple more minutes so we can get more attendees to log in. Please hold and we'll start shortly. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate your time, and I hope you find today's session very informational. I am Neil Rosado, and I'm your Senior Technical Specialist with Autodesk. I have over 21 years of industry experience with a comprehensive background in architectural design and construction, as well as building information modeling. I have been responsible for creating and running BIM departments, resulting in a vast implementation of full scope of services regarding BIM processes, from 3D visualization all the way to delivering facility management models for owners. So for today, the line will be muted to reduce the background noise we may have. If you have any questions, please use the question box. We have Antonio online to be answering any questions as we go along. Also, a link to the recorded session will be emailed after we are done. So with that, let's get started. So why are we here? Well, this is a follow-up to the previous session, why your business needs construction management platform. This webinar will take a look into BIM 360 Build and how it can facilitate superior project execution. So let's be honest about something. What do contractors like yourselves and many others across the nation get paid for? Is it billable labor? Is it a schedule of execution? Sure, those things may help, but simply put, contractors get paid to build buildings. And that's our goal here at Autodesk, to help contractors build better, faster, more efficiently. And how can we do that? Well, by improving quality control, safety, project management on job sites, the BIM 360 platform is an integrated field and project management tools that allows users to get an instant update in both the office and in the field. BIM 360 Build can help you improve your quality and safety programs, manage your projects with RFIs and submittals while staying on time and on budget. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's take a quick poll. So if you would, please answer the following question. So what position do you hold in your company? Are you a project manager? Are you on the BIM VDC side or other? If your role is not on the screen, you can select other, or in the chat box, you can go ahead and place it as well. So we'll just let this go for a couple more seconds. And we have a good variety today. We have a huge BIM VDC contingent. However, Other received a lot of votes as well. So I'm glad to have all you guys on, and our project managers and project engineers as well. So the BIM 360 platform. It is a complete solution that supports the integration and automation of workflows. This platform is moving away from the standalone software solution to a platform that allows for a centralized collection of data and a single source of data repository that puts the project at center. More importantly, it guides the handover of information between project phases. BIM 360 is built on top of Forge. Forge is our development product platform that allows all this information to move between not only the different phases of the construction, but also leverage the information that's being created in the authorizing tools like Revit and AutoCAD. Having the ability to have this integrated platform with Forge allows us to connect with third-party applications and other tools to leverage the same information. BIM 360 uses all this with the common data platform in the center, which is housed in document management. Now, with all that document management occurring there, we have the ability not only to leverage workflows throughout the design process, but also use data and analytics to take a deeper dive into that process. The platform overall is broken up into 4 packages that you can purchase today. Those packages include document management, design collaboration, glue for model coordination, and build. Build is what we're going to focus on today. And so within build, you get the field management and project management modules. You also have access to the classic product BIM 360 field, while also maintaining the full data repository with document management, dashboard and analytics with Project Home and Insight, and full administrative processes that allows you to manage your projects easily and quickly. But beyond what you're getting with just the purchase of Build, this is a mobile-first connected platform. It connects and allows for greater collaborations between teams, and that collaboration extends not only from design, but throughout the construction process and eventually to handover. This platform is secure. We have SOC 2 compliance, which is one of the more stringent compliances out there, but also at Autodesk, security is our top priority. The safety and security of your data means everything to us. Without that kind of strict security protocol, the availability of your data outside of your intended uses becomes critical. We control that through all the permission uses that we have on the user basis. So everyone that accesses the system is tracked and you're aware of all the activity involved with it. It's data driven. So what does that mean for you? So having this integrated platform that extracts and leverages the different pieces of information allows you then to do predictive analysis. So when you're working on a project and you see that a subcontractor or even a specific team of yours is having troubles engaging that process, we can start seeing what's going on. Why are they at risk? Is it a water issue? Is it schedule dates? We can start using that information and then start analyzing every project, and now you can have improved decision making from all the levels all the way to the very top to the project manager on every single job. And this integrated system utilizing Forge allows us to store over 50 different file format types within our system. It is an open API, so we have integration partners galore. We have over 60 right now, and that number is growing all the time. Now, these integration partners are crucial to the development of a solution for all our customers to understand how the solution can work best for them. There are great partners out there that allows their product to really engage in the process. For example, something like SmartVid allows you to take pictures and videos of the site and analyze them to make sure safety risks aren't happening. That kind of integration directly into our system allows you more flexibility to have the most appropriate solution that you need for your jobs to be most successful. And that's what we're gearing towards. We want a solution that is flexible to grow with you and give you all the aspects of constructability that you need to do your job better, faster, more efficiently. So before we get into BIM 360 Build specifically, we're going to take one more poll. So within this poll, I want you to kind of take a look at what problems are you dealing with on a day in, day out basis. So how critical is it for you regarding any missing project data or lack of communication? Lots of times the field is way behind on the ability to understand if they're working on the latest documents. We'll give you a few more seconds as we're collecting this data. Okay. So number one on the list is that poor communication, and that's a huge breakdown between silos. To have the ability to have a single platform to leverage that communication will help this problem tremendously, as well as that missing project data. Putting the data of the project in the center allows that execution to flourish, and we'll go much further into that as well. All right. So the BIM 360 build solution. So what's exactly inside of it? So BIM 360 Build is part of the entire BIM 360 kind of ecosystem that includes that document management piece, design collaboration early on in the design phase between designers and engineers, the coordination efforts that often happen during pre-construction phases, and then into that field execution with RFI submittals, quality, and issue tracking. And again, maintaining all the data associated with it and leveraging that data to work with how you want to. Now, when we're taking a look specifically at the build workflows, there are 6 pieces that we'll be looking at today. First of which is the project management piece, which is that submittal and RFI tracking. And then we'll look at the field execution piece inside of issue management, quality control, all the way to daily reporting. Now, when we're talking about submittal tracking, it's really kind of a standard workflow process. And so what we're trying to do is leverage technology to make it easier and more efficient for you. So now within our submittal packages, we can share that with the entire team across all different phases and easily view the different statuses. We can sort and track the submittals. We can add different items to different packages, and we can also attach additional documents for approval. All of this is also connected with that permissioning set that we talked about before. Within that permissioning set, we can assign different members of teams, individuals, roles, or companies. That allows the right people to get the information when they need it, which is a critical part of getting your submittals and responses to those. Next is RFIs. Not only can we create and track the RFI, we can easily share this data with whoever needs it. It's sortable, it's fluid process, again, assigning to any member within the project. But more importantly, it is a process that can be created from 2D, 3D, or a standalone RFI issue for something that's not related to a sheet or model. What becomes really important about this is that sometimes the model gives you the most clear picture of the issue at hand. And being able to open the model and create an RFI from it streamlines the process as opposed to trying to find the right RCP or the right cross section to kind of accomplish what you're doing, and the need for then to create a huge description of what's going on. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and a model is worth 1,000 pictures. So having the ability to engage the RFI process with the model becomes critical. Next, we have issue management. Now, during field execution, issue management becomes an enormous need. Not only is it a need for properly executing the work, but it also becomes a need for you to understand what work and effort is going on to your job. This is really exemplified by the need of root causes. So having root causes within our issues allows us to then not only address the issue at hand, but start learning and passing on lesson learned to new jobs. If you have a similar root cause that's occurring across the similar companies, maybe then it's time to have kind of an educational session with that subcontractor or that team to make sure that not only that the issues are being corrected today, but not happening in the future. So those issues are often generated from a quality control or safety checklist. Within quality control, we have the ability to not only import any checklist that you currently have via Excel, but if you are a company that currently does have classic BIM 360 field, we can import those checklists as well, making it easy to create these and making it real easy to understand the process of commissioning quality safety, including punch. All this information can be tracked and understand the completion status of every different checklist, and I'll show you that feature as well. But more importantly, the non-conformance issues that occur within the checklist then become something you can monitor and then resolve inside the issue management system as well. When we're taking a look at safety, it's not just about the safety program that you currently have in your job site. Our system allows you to standardize your safety program across the entire company. That way you can determine and deliver the same quality checklist to every single job site and ensure that all your individuals are completing the steps appropriately. Not only do we have sections that have different parameters like yes, no, plus, minus, and so forth, but we have the ability to also have a signature associated with each section, allowing for greater accountability of what's going on. And again, just like with all our checklists, anything that's not in conformance becomes an issue that we track. And then with root causes, you can start learning better about your programs, your safety programs installed, and do predictive learning and be able to take those and capture those lessons learned to move forward in better, faster, more efficiently process. So now we have daily reporting. So daily reporting is just a log system that tracks daily activities, whether it's weather or number of people on the job site and how many hours they were there. We also have the ability to take general notes and place that within the system too. And this is also visible within our dashboards and create custom reports out of it. But this feature is developing faster and faster every single day because the need is growing for a superior kind of daily logs tool. And that leads me to one thing I need to discuss with you. This product is on a 2-week development cycle. So what that means for you is that every 2 weeks, you're getting bug fixes, new workflows, and features delivered to your desktop, to your iPad, or to your iPhone, even your Android device. Making sure that we're addressing our customer needs is very important to us. And so having this development cycle ensures that our customers are working on the best solution that we can provide them every single day. So now we're going to transition to the actual live demo within the product. As we do this transition, just remember this platform that we're looking at is web-based and also available through applications on Android and iOS. So now everyone should be seeing BIM 360 site on a web browser. This one here is Chrome. It can work on Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, whatever you're using, it can work there. The first thing I want you to notice is that we're launched into Project Home based on the last project I was in. Now, Project Home is a customizable dashboard based on my user preference. So when I log in, depending on my user preference as well as the ability to see what modules I'm selected to, I can also see what's the activity going on within the job. Currently, I'm an admin, so I can see all the different issues at hand, whether they're project issues, which can be created through the design phase, or field issues that are created from some of those checklists that we were talking about before. We can see the project checklists and when they're scheduled to run, and also start monitoring the RFIs and submittal process. Now, this is a customizable view, and to customize that, I can edit the cards. So not only can I move them around, but I can also link into additional cards. We have a complete card library that will show you the ability to create different necessary items. not only we have the ability to start tracking the RFI activities, but then we can start tracking that activity versus close, start getting a sense of what's going on in the job. If we want to start relating to coordination issues, we can do that as well. But more importantly, since this is a platform that we are openly integrating with, and that's one thing about Autodesk. Autodesk has kind of been three companies in its history. The first of which was it created AutoCAD. So it was a software first company. It made software. Then in the late 90s and early aughts, they bought software companies and bought a slew of them. Now what we've realized is that the end goal for our customers is to have a platform that allows them to do everything that they want to do. To do that, instead of focusing on creating the perfect solution, we're focusing on integrating with partners. Like I mentioned before, SmartVid or Pipe.io. We also have the ability to integrate your dashboard with those partners. So if you're taking drone scan data from a job site, we can load that data onto our dashboard with 3DR site scan. If you're using Power BI to create sophisticated reports and dashboards, you can bring those in directly. So now you don't have to go back and forth between different platforms. It's all in one place for you. Same thing with Smart Sheets. And this list is growing and growing, just like our integration partners are growing and growing. So that's just a small example of how that integration is working. So now from the dashboard, I want you to notice a couple things. First, you have at the top what says TS Construction. That's your project hub. That would be your server essentially on the Amazon Web Services Cloud, which is what we implement. Next to that, we have what project you're in. One thing I want you to notice about our license agreement is that you have unlimited projects, unlimited data. So if you are invited to 64 projects like I am, I have access to all of them. Or if I want to upload 4 terabytes of models, I can do so and never be charged extra. Unlimited projects, unlimited data. At any point, I can key in. If I know what project I'm working on, I can just start with the alpha text and notice that it will also look across different servers. So if I've been invited to another contractor's site, that will be apparent here as well. So full access to the system at all times. Next to the word project home, we have the waffle, and that's our module selector. Within the module selector, you will only see, again, based on your user preferences, what you've been invited to. So I have access to all the modules currently. However, if I was a subcontractor that only had access to document management, that is the only icon I would see. So we have our document management tool that is the house for all the data involved. And then we have our project management and field management pieces we'll be discussing today. Just to note, our cost management module is in preview mode and will be released for it will be wide release here very shortly. So let's start with field management. Now, field management is that project execution piece for your checklisting process, as well as managing issues and daily logs. The first part to take a look at within the field management is the templates. This is how you create your different checklists. Now, whether you import a checklist like we discussed earlier or create one from new. Now, I'm not going to go through the entire process of creating one for you today. However, I do want to show you that I have the ability to have a filtered list of what kind of checklist I want to create. I can add additional section assignees, and I can require a signature based on the completion. Now, once I give this a title, I can go to next. Now, within this section, I have the ability to label whatever the section is going to be called. And then this is where I can start adding new items. Now, the important thing here is not only can I create the new item listed there, but I also have these different options. Now, we talked about the yes, no, and true, false parameters. Same thing as pass, fail, and plus, minus. We can do multiple choice selections or checkbox options, and as well as being enter any piece of text or any piece of numbers. So when that's all set up, anything that's not in conformance becomes an issue. So let's take a look at what that looks like. We'll leave the wizard. And now we're taking a look at the checklists that are currently already in the system. And from here, I can just create quickly a checklist by hitting Create Checklist. Now, as I create the checklist, a checklist for the daily welding report will come up. Here's my option to have the field number. I also have any associated drawing or ISO number associated with it, which I can type in as well. Any system name, whether it's piping or water. Again, this is all information that's customizable to you. But not only that, I can jump between sections really quickly. So whether it's section 2 or section 3, I can go back and forth easily. Once the details are filled out, for example, this one fails, notice that it's partial completion creates, and then I can start assigning different people within the system the responsibility of completing this checklist. Now, whether it's a person or whether it's a role or a company, I can start associating that to different individuals on site and then have a scheduled running of that checklist as required. I need this done by the end of next week. So then that's in the system now. Now, within that, as issues are being created, we have the ability to look inside that issue and understand. So first of which, we can open any current one. We have a filtering ability for that issue. So if I want to look for specific types, for example, I want to look for any mechanical or plumbing issues that I have. Currently not found. Let's find something here. Clear all. Well, based on whatever type you have and subtype associated with it, we can also start looking at the different statuses. So whether something is ready to inspect, it will show me all the different items that are ready to inspect and also the duties associated with them. So now I can create a report that's exported via PDF or a CSV file for Excel to understand what's going on with the current ready to inspect. How come we're not meeting these deadlines for that inspection process? Are there any linked items as well as any additional information, including comments? So if I look at this particular issue, we'll see the full details inside of it, who it was created by and what company they're associated with, who then it was assigned to, and all the different subtypes. Now, not only do we have a linked document of a plan, but we also have a photo showing the condition. Now, on top of that, we have all the different attachments to whatever is currently there, but I can also then browse to any document within our document management system, or if it's something off onto your computer, I can browse the entire computer that I'm on and find whatever information is there. So whether it's a RFI response or whether it's a spec section, any need I have, I can then associate with that. I mentioned before about that user preference, and that really leads on the activity log. So we'll have full activity of what's going on in the entire system from the creation of that issue all the way to the answers associated with it. So once this is ready to inspect, I can then assign to work complete, and I send it back to Kara, job done. And now it's ball in her court for the rest of that completed piece. So that process links through all the way across. And that's how you would manage all issues. So not just the ones associated with quality, but also take a look, there's safety issues, there are punch list items. This is a full punch listing process that you can incorporate to every single room. It works on a location breakdown structure. So whether you're going into just something larger scale, like just floors, or if you want to dive into a specific room, you can start looking at what's going on at every piece of the process. And within that location breakdown structure, again, assign it to any user, role, or company, due dates, and all importantly, the root causes. So this is what we're talking about, where we want to start making sure that as the system is developing, we want to make sure that we have the ability to understand what's going on within our projects and learn from our lessons and move that knowledge forward. So many times I see contractors that do a similar type of job, but with different project teams, and they run into the same issues on different jobs. As we're learning, we should be sharing that, and within a singular platform, not only at the project level, but at your corporate level, gives you the ability to do that faster and more efficiently. The last piece here within field management is that daily logs. So not only do we have the date at top, but we also have the weather, and then the weather based on the location of the project and how that's filled out. So we have the ability to have some standard settings, so we can go Celsius and kilometers for our Canadian friends, as well as overseas. But within that, we have the different weather information, but we have the labor. So now we can start adding labor based on companies. How many workers do they have out there today? And how many hours total? So there are 6 workers all working a half day. So we had 24 total hours. And we continue just adding that information as we go across. So we can add additional detail. For example, if there was a safety accident on site, we can start adding that information. Also, if we want to start looking at the ability to keep the general notes in terms of what's going on a day in, day out basis, but you can start adding scheduled information to this general notes field and then start creating different reports based on that. So we do have flexibility. And like I mentioned before, this feature is ever evolving, and we're making sure that it's going to be the best solution for you guys. So now we move to project management. Now within project management, we have 2 major aspects of workflows. We have the RFI process, and then we have the submittals. We're going to start with RFIs. I mentioned the discussion earlier about issues and how it's important to have your issues with root causes, and you can assign them to different people and so forth. RFIs is the next step in that evolution of issues. The biggest piece to understand, I'm just going to go to my project admin here to let you see what's going on, is that an RFI, the difference from an issue is that it needs to follow a chain of command. There is a creator of that RFI that is then, once the RFI is created, it goes to the manager of the RFI process, and then it goes to the reviewer, and then back around. It follows a complete chain of command. Often, these RFIs are associated with cost, so it's more necessary to make sure there are more eyes on it as opposed to an issue just getting an answer from one person. We can change that RFI workflow to add additional reviewers as necessary, but for the most part, what you need to understand is that you have a creator of the RFI, you have the manager of the process, and they then divvy that to the reviewers. So if you look here within the workflow, you can add your different creators of all the different people associated with the project. You can add a streamlined group of people to just manage the RFI process, and then official users or reviewers. So that would be your designers or your owner, or whoever it needs to be. So once you have that workflow determined, back in project management, when you're creating an RFI, it's really quite simple. So first of which, I can be on a sheet to create an RFI. I don't have to do it freestanding. I can be in that 3D model like we talked about earlier. Or if I need to create something that's not associated currently with a sheet or model, I can do that as well. Now, within the creation of the RFI, you'll see here that it defaults to submitted. So once I hit create, it goes to a submitted RFI and goes to that manager. However, if I have lots of RFIs to create or lots of information to put inside of it, I can make it draft and come back to it later if I need to. So we can associate a title with it. So we'll have door spec change. I can add my question, per spec, door mod. Suggest an answer. So verify spec. And then I can then add that specification. Now, if it's in the system, you'll see it here. within whatever approved folders that we have, or if it's part of a shop drawing process or whatever it may be, part of the design process, I can add whatever pieces of information I need to. I can, again, over 50 different file formats. I'm just going to add this forward slide PDF just for an example. And then if this was associated with a specific sheet, I can also link the sheets within the document set. So if I look at my construction documents, go to my architectural set, and I notice this was on the first floor, I can select the first floor. It's going to bring up that sheet, and then I can allow myself to then pin the issue at the door in question. So I don't need to be on the sheet. I don't have to find the magical sheet associated with it. I don't have to do any of that. If I want to go into a model, I can go into a model and specifically dive in and apply my pin there. So that door changed. And before I hit done, just notice that the pin floats with the model. So no matter where it's created, I can still track that in other pieces. So once that's done, it takes me right back to the RFI. It lets you know that I have linked that to a model of the first floor, and now I can start assigning this. So notice this list of assignees are just the people that are manager level. So I will assign this to Alyssa. I can specify a location, my location breakdown structure if I need to, but since I did pin it, it's going to go to wherever that pin is. And then I can associate my due date of next week. Add a co-reviewer. Antonio will be my co-reviewer today. And then if I have a distribution list, I can then associate members there. So if I want to start adding other pieces of the design team, I can add that here as well, or the owner, or whoever it needs to be, I can start associating all the designers inside of it. Now, once I hit create, you'll notice here at the top right that it's going to have created the RFI. With that creation, an email is being sent out to all the people involved in the process so we can start understanding what's going on. So let's take a look at that submittal again, or that submitted RFI rather. Here are the details of what I just selected. It's on a sheet. I have an attachment. You'll see a PDF here. That attachment can be opened up to be viewed inside the system, so I don't have to leave and exit anything else. And so that slide's going to come up, and this is the BIM 360 platform that you'll be looking at. Also, within this attachment, I can also create markups for other notations associated with it. I can also create an issue based on this, or an additional RFI just on the attached document as well. So if I have more questions and this isn't answering this for anyone, those steps can be captured. And again, the full activity log is always there. This report can be filtered, just like what we were looking at before with issues. So we can see all the different submitted items. Your report can be exported as a PDF and a CSV file as well. But before we go on to submittals, a couple of things. First of which, back in my project settings, underneath overview, you'll see here that it will show you the entire activity log that has been occurring within this project. So under document management, let's see. Here's all the activities. Notice that the view document, the submitted RFI, all the things I've been doing so far is being tracked. It's keeping the full activity of all of it. As well, I can export this out. So if heaven forbid something goes terribly wrong and someone deletes a folder they shouldn't have deleted, you can see where that happened in the time frame, and then we can restore that back from the exact time it went away. Also, we can see if certain things happen that shouldn't have been happening from a certain individual. We can also track that down and make sure that either the permissions are adjusted or whatever needs to happen moving forward is done. Again, full activity of what's going on. One last thing within that project management piece on the administrative side. When we start talking about submittals, the important thing to understand is just like RFIs, you need a manager. So when we take a look at the submittal tab, you notice here that you have to have a submittal manager associated with it. And this is the person that can actually review and then close them. You could have multiples, but you do have to define who that person or persons are going to be within our submittal process. So with that, let's go back to our project management to take a look at what that looks like. So here within our submittals, you notice that we have 3 tabs across the top that breaks down the items, the packages, but also importantly, the spec section. This allows you to quickly create all the different sections that you need associated with your submittal packages. And we have integrations with Pipe.io. So if you're using Pipe, there's an auto extraction mechanism that it works really well with. We do have an integration for that, so it speeds up this process tremendously. So when we look at items, again, we have full filtering capabilities, what we're working with. And just like RFIs, we can export that. That way you have a PDF, you have your submittal log. It's all right here in front of you. Based on the statuses, whether it's required, open, or even in draft status, you'll see all the product data associated with it. If I want to start looking for specific sections that I'm working on, I can look at those as well. Or a specific type, whether it's documentation. You can see how that's being associated to. So again, we have the ability to completely look at all the submittals throughout the entire process. Not only that, items can be loaded into packages, so you have full packages, and then assigned to people and companies. Again, the due dates become very important, and when you see all this red, heads are going to roll. Answers need to be made. And then also importantly, the response. What actually has been reviewed as noted, and what has been approved. So as we take a look at one of these, let's take a look at this approved one. So we have the bus shelter shop, steel shops. They were loaded in. Currently, what we see, we have the attached shop drawings for it. Who submitted it? It was assigned to Tanya for approval. Here is the package of the shops as well. We can see any other information. What's the official response? The response was approved by me. And then what was the review process? So here are all the different documents that was reviewed, and that B71 became the official response. We can look further into the details, and you'll start seeing the more data associated with it and all the different reviewers and co-reviewers responsible, and then any additional attachments that was laid out. So here are the attachments that Tanya put into the system. Here comes a PDF sheet so we can look inside of it. And just like what you saw before, we have the ability to mark it up live. And we have that markup tool as well as being able to view sheets versus views. Now, what becomes important with that understanding is that if a subcontractor supports modeling and uploads a model for review, if there's any sheets associated with that model, you can toggle back and forth between them. So again, having full flexibility of working the way you need to work most efficiently. And again, that full activity log. Now, as we're creating an item, just going through the steps a little bit, it looks really similar to that RFI creation process, and that's on purpose. We did lots of studies with lots of clients and different experts on interfaces, and the more it's unified, the easier it is for people to pick it up. And whether it's someone in the office or someone in the field, if the interface is as unified and as easy to learn as possible, everyone starts using the product even better. So we have those predefined spec sections. If I need to create a new one, I can do so. So we'll take a look at, let's say, this cable tray section. Is there a subsection associated with it? Sure. Cable tray spec description, or no, documentation. I can add any additional information. I can choose the type. This is more documentation. I can assign it to my submittal manager, and then I can browse to select. So within here, I will just browse to my OneDrive location. Again, I can work across all the different platforms of whoever I need to work with. And here is my cable tray. So I have uploaded that document. I can create another one if I want to. And now once I hit create, it is going to Alyssa right now to manage the process. So you can see here immediately it's opened up. It has been created. She is getting an email right now, letting us know that what the request is. Now she can assign it to whoever it needs to, and then the process starts rolling. And that's the way the system works. It's an interactive discussion of the submittal process. What's also important to understand is that we do have a My Action Items button. So if I have any action items on my plate, I can quickly go to My Action Items and then see the things that I need to do that day. Tying that ability back to the project home site allows you to really just dive into a project, know what you need to do, get it done, and move forward. Now, all this goes back to the ability to work within this unified system. And that's what we're working towards. This is a single platform that allows all this capability to flow back and forth as easily as information can flow within a job site. We really want to make sure that everyone that's working in this platform can get the information when they need it and however they need it. So whether it's analytics or whether it's just an RFI, we want to make sure that the platform can handle all of this. And that's what we've been talking about today, is having a solution that not only allows a contractor to build their jobs better, faster, and more efficiently, but also have a system that allows the ease of communication, the ease of use to maintain that level of service that you need, because job sites rarely go down. We can't have solutions that go down with it. So we want to stay up, we want to be aggressive, and make sure we're giving you the product and platform that you deserve. And this isn't something that's happening just today. We have clients that have been using this platform, whether it's document management or other aspects, and they're seeing huge results and getting huge gains in their workflow processes. This is just a small look at hundreds of different clients that have been working with our solution that just are seeing what they can get from a platform solution. And that's what we hope to give to you. So one last, I promise, poll. Now, this one is quite simple. This was a quick look into the BIM 360 build module of the platform. Do you want to learn more? Do you want to take a look and have a deep dive with a product specialist, or have a detailed demo from someone like myself or one of my team members? Let me know, and we can make that happen for you. There are great things on the horizon within the platform. The integrations are huge and critical. Autodesk just made a $1 billion investment to make sure our construction solution is top notch, and we're going to make that happen. We're going to have that full platform for you to work with throughout that process. I want to thank you for your time. I really do appreciate you joining me today. Right now, we'll take a look at your questions and start answering those. All right. So a lot of the questions have already been answered. Thank you, Antonio, for helping out with that process. Let's see if any questions, please put them in the question box, and that would be the easiest way for us to get those. So starting with the last one that came in, let's see here. All right, we have, it looks like a presentation. It looks like the platform is more for contractors and subs. How would it be useful for companies who only do BIM modeling, coordination, time tracking, and time spent on them? Fantastic question. All right, so our platform is flexible. What we showed today was the ability to do field execution work. So as they're building the building, that piece. Our platform has a full model coordination aspect as well, and it's also tied into that issue management piece. So between that and checklists, you'll have all the ability to track the coordinated issues. We'll be able to track what's going on at all different phases, as well as finding issues that occur in that model coordination process. Right now, we do not have one of these webinars for model coordination, but hopefully that could be coming soon. So look for that on the horizon, and that way we'll have a little deep dive within that. All right, let's see, what else do we have here? How does it integrate with OneDrive? Fantastic question. So if you go to integrations.bim360.com, that is our website that shows all of the integrations that we currently have available. OneDrive is already one of them. So what you can do within our integration to OneDrive is that we can have the data that's stored in document management also pull data from OneDrive and vice versa. So they become two drives that talk to each other. So that's how we have that OneDrive integration today. So Brad Witt, you mentioned that project management did not cover your question. If you could please place your question at the bottom of the question bar again, that way we can get it back to the top so we can address that for you. What else do we have? Can you do multiple daily logs, i.e. a log from each subcontractor? Yes. So every user that logs in can create their own daily log. Now, whether you want that ability or you want to throttle that down to only certain users have it, that is up to you. But yeah, multiple daily logs can be created. Yes, the session will be available later as well. And BIM 360 Field is available in Colombia. Yes, it is. BIM 360 not only Field, Classic Field, but also the build module that we saw today is also available. All right, we'll reach out to you. Sure. What else do we have here? All right, so Brad came in with, will Autodesk incorporate being able to select multiple pieces of equipment at one time on the iPad or a custom property at one time? This is a fantastic question. Just by the verbiage that you're using, that is a classic field question because we don't have equipment or asset management just yet in the next generation build module, but that is coming. So right now, you cannot do that multiple select that you're suggesting inside the workflow. However, what you can do, especially with equipment, is that you can create an overarching piece of equipment. Let's say a lot of times in the mechanical world or even in commissioning, they would want to have a commissioning of a system, not necessarily all the different parts and pieces in that system. So you can create an overarching system and link all the other pieces into one. That way, all the different checklists are associated with there. That's one possible workflow. Um, I don't think that answers your question completely, but however, as the asset management module comes out for this platform, you'll be seeing a lot more flexibility of what you're kind of talking about, Brad, in that system. All right. Is there a module or feature development that allows Revit parameters to be filled out in field and flowed back to the model? That can happen today with Classic Field. You can do that through the linking of a glue model. So when the asset management does happen, feature parity is the goal. So I can see that functionality coming, especially since the Revit models are now starting in design collaboration. Let's continue that all the way through. So we are really working very hard on that asset management module that is coming very shortly. All right. Is it available in Brazil? I believe so. Maybe Antonio, if you know more specifically about Brazil, I believe it is. And what else do we have here? So is inventory management allowed in BIM 360? Kind of like what we just talked about as the asset module develops. But if there is a third-party software solution that you're currently using for inventory, if they have an open API, we can make an integration happen with them. So that's just a conversation to have. Let's see. Yes, this recorded version will be available for you to view later. It will be sent as an email. And how do you map the equipment? So that again, that's a classic field item. the mapping of equipment happens a couple different ways. If it's model generated equipment, that will go through glue and there's a full mapping process. If it's not, if it's just standard equipment via, let's say, Excel or added manually, you can upload Excel spreadsheets that have your list of equipment as well. There is a template inside Classic Field that allows you to do that. And then you can also type barcodes to those pieces of equipment. So all of which are fantastic questions. And these are all the kinds of things that we're getting back to our product managers to make sure that asset module, when it is rolled out, it is top notch. And then the licensing. So the licensing is based on the named user model. So every person associated with the project has to be invited to your host site. So every user needs to have a license, and that's on purpose. It goes back to that security of your data. If we just give access to anyone, then that's not going to maintain that integrity of that data. So in that name user module, the owner of the site, let's say it's the contractor, will then have to invite whoever is going to participate within that project. So we know that you can have, 25 standard users and then blow up to 100 really quickly. That's why our packages are also based on that same train of thought. So for example, if you need 400 seats of build and it's cheaper to buy 1,000 than it is to buy 400. And that's on purpose. That way, if you're going to grow, you have the flexibility to grow. Same thing if you need to buy 18, it's cheaper to buy 25 than it is to buy 17. So we understand that's a need, and we're going to associate that with that packages of the subscription. All right. All right, so the last piece, do you still need to be running glue to set up equipment? All right, so within Classic Field, you just have to make the initial conversation happen between Revit, Glue, and Field. Once that initial conversation happens, you don't have to do anything within Glue unless the model changes significantly. If that happens, then you will have to go back into Glue, re-upload it through Field, and rinse and repeat. At that point, you don't need 50 different users for Glue. You just need the one person that's going to be managing that process. But that's that communication piece that goes from Field to Revit and Glue. So a SharePoint integration, that's a fantastic question. We're working closely with Microsoft on all the different integration opportunities. So more to come on that, but right now there's not that direct integration today. Does it integrate with a buying software, order materials and stuff? So we do have different relations with different ERP systems, like for example, CMIC that allows for some ordering of materials and things like that. But overall, there's not one that I can think off the top of my head. There may be, if you looked at that slide I had there, all the different names on it. We are working with partners every day. I know that right now we have over 60 published integrations, but we are working with almost double of the different partners from just those 60. So we are looking for solutions all the time. And to kind of wrap this up a little bit, we're going to take a look at a couple of last ones here. And how can we have access to this? It's a great question. Antonio kind of answered it already, but you'll want to work with whoever is your partner, whether it's an Autodesk reseller or an Autodesk salesman, and we can make sure that happens for you as well. And so what is a TS? A TS is a technical specialist. So that's my role here in the company, and it's we're all industry experienced individuals that have different kind of expertise. Mine is within construction, and so I'm a senior technical specialist for that. On that note, we're just at the top of the hour. I want to thank you again. I really appreciate your time. As we go through the last piece, remember we have resources available for you, including website like BIM 360 resources, autodesk.com, So take a look at these. We have that product update I was telling you. The release notes are released every 2 weeks when the software is released. If you want a free one-on-one demo, get a deep dive from another technical specialist or myself, then we can do that as well through that link too. And then again, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate all you guys joining me, and I really, really thank you. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day.